I still see 5. Percent damage is 2. Hydra damage is 5. Hydras have 12 heads is 8. It's 8, right? It just doesn't have an icon. It isn't orange. Once it's completely broken, guys. How did that even happen?
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Duel, back here with another Diablo 4 video. And Diablo 4 might be in trouble. So our boy Rax here just got done playing the PTR, and he's already got some feedback. I don't even think he played for a couple hours and determined that there's quite a bit of issues with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over it. He writes like a big old list here, talking about some of the issues that he's experienced. Now, I will say, full disclaimer, most PTRs in Diablo 4 historically are bugged and broken. So this is not supposed to be a shock to anybody. So most likely, majority of this stuff will get fixed, but there's some key points that I do want to talk about. All right, so he wrote down a list here. Let's talk about a couple things here. A lot of these things will get fixed in full release. So you can think of this as like a beta test run, as a real public test run. That's what it's called. But so most of these bugs will be fixed in the release of the actual season. So when you see some of these, there's no need to be a downer about the issue. They're going to get resolved. So let's just drop down this list here before we get into his feedback and talk about that. So he talks about the PTR vendors. I'm not going to talk about that because it's just a PTR. Who cares? They can always improve that the next PTR. Not a big deal. So let's talk about the meat and potatoes, which is the Nightmare Dungeons and Nightmare Dungeon escalations. So he says right off the bat here, escalating dungeons are indistinguishable from regular Nightmare Dungeons. I think it's a huge problem. I don't know, I haven't played for myself what that is, but we'll see how that actually pans out. I'm assuming what he means is like between escalations, the experience doesn't really change, and I could definitely see that being an issue, especially if you're used to blasting them already. And historically speaking, from a video that we've seen where the developers were playing the game, it would appear to me, you know what, let's scratch that. We'll talk about that after. So second thing he talks about, heraldric chests are bugs. They won't open. That'll get fixed on release. Not a huge issue. Upon completing the next dungeon, the statue, very hard to see and no minimap icon. That'll probably also get improved in the release. So I'm not going to talk about that too much. So to backtrack for objectives, Animus. This has been an issue since the launch of Diablo 4. I feel like if anyone's ever done the Animus, basically what happens is you go in, you kill an elite, it drops what's called Animus. It's like this purple goo or something, and there's purple light, and you have to pick it up, and it fills up a bar, and then once you fill up the bar, you're able to progress to the boss room or the next room. And if you kill the elite, and you miss a little bit of Animus, and you have like a smidge left in your bar, you have to run all the way back through the dungeon, find that Animus, or kill that elite that you missed, and then you go back. So this has always been a problem in Diablo 4. This is not specific to Season 9, but it's an issue that I wish they would just take this mechanic out of the game, in my opinion. Just get rid of it. It's not a fun mechanic. I don't know who thought of it. It's just not fun. So, Invisible Potion on Astaroth, and persists after he dies. This will also probably be fixed in the release of the patch. Mini boss materials need auto pickup. I'm assuming that when you have your pet out, they're not auto picked up, so that would be a nice feature. Talk about bugs here. Masterworking is broken, and they said burning damage from Hydras doesn't trigger Firewall enchantment. So Masterworking broken will most likely get fixed on release, but this second one, I am not sure. I am hopeful in saying that I would think they would get that fixed because they really want people to play the Hydra with the new unique that they talked about in the campfire chat. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out the campfire chat on Diablo's official channel. And I also made a video talking about the campfire itself, so you can also go check that video out as well. But there's a chance that they leave this in broken. Hopefully that's not the case, because if it is the case, then it's gonna limit that build probably. I don't know by how much because I haven't played the build myself personally, but it's worth noting here. So Diablo 4 is in trouble, and let's talk about it because and I would say out of all the content creators, and if you've seen Rob, Woody, DM, Riker, just to name a few, they're generally pretty positive-ish for most of Diablo 4's development life cycle. Maybe maybe not DM anymore. He's been fully converted to PoE 2, but I digress. I would say Rax is definitely on the more pessimistic side when it comes to the development life cycle of Diablo 4. And he also gives a pretty interesting perspective most of the time. Granted, I will say I don't fully believe everything that Rax says, or some of his ideas I don't agree with. But for the most part, I think he speaks for a general amount of the player base. But with that being said, Diablo 4 is in trouble because I'm sorry, not C. The A here under Nightmare Dungeons is very concerning in my opinion. The Nightmare Dungeons are just indistinguishable from regular dungeons. How this means, like, in my opinion, this is me speaking here. When I heard that they were going to be improving the dungeons and then just giving us powers, I'm taken aback. Because how is that a season theme? How is that a season theme? Hey guys, and this has been a thing that Blizzard's been doing probably for the majority of the life cycle of Diablo 4, is, hey, let's take a core mechanic of Diablo 4, improve it, and slap you on with some powers, and call it a season. That's it. And I don't understand, like, I'll give you examples if you don't believe me. They improved Helltide, made that a season. They improved items, made that a season, and that actually might be the same season. But I digress. Whatever. Same thing, right? Last season was, hey guys, we improved bossing. Here's some powers. Call it a season. This season, we improved dungeons. Gave you some powers. Called it a season. What is happening here? These should just be quality of life improvements to the game. This should not be a seasonal thing. Like, why would I get excited about running more Nightmare Dungeons? This is something that you should have already been improving over the, this is something that should have gone into the expansion. You know what I mean? I don't get it. And maybe I'm being more negative than Rax here, but I don't understand how, when you think of a season theme, you think of something that's going to drastically change the game, your gameplay, how the traditional meta builds, or builds in general, run. And yeah, I haven't played with the spell powers, so there's a chance they get changed, but it's the same concept. You're getting powers, so they don't change too much. They just change your damage, really, and your output, and how you put that build together, where you're doing trillions and trillions of damage, which is another issue. But overall, it doesn't really change your experience. To give you an example, if you haven't played Last Epoch is another ARPG that came out a couple years ago, and in full release, and they just released their Season 2, and for their Season 2, I'm just trying to keep it brief here, they added what was called like a Weaver tree. So you get like this whole passive board that you have to fill out. You get like these special dungeons with special monsters, and like they're completely new monsters. They're like these spider type monsters. They're like golden and they're blue, and they're very, very cool, and they're very unique. They're completely different, and they add to the game, and they give you Weaver idols. There's Weaver items. There's things that just change the entirety of the entire game. Things that are new to the game that you didn't see before. Here, you're not really getting that because of spell powers. Now, I will say, if they kept the spell powers from all the different seasons, and they said, hey, we're going to give you all the access to all the powers this season, that would be interesting, because there's so many different builds that you could play with here. But there's nothing like that in this season. Well, hey, guys, we improved dungeons. Here's some powers. All right, now buy the next expansion. Like, I'm sorry, but this is unacceptable in my opinion. This is just a filler season to get us to the expansion where you shell out $40 to $60. I don't understand it. I really don't. And I feel like this is just filler season. They really need to step it up. And you would think after the launch of PoE 2 and the massive success of Last Epoch, this would get Blizzard thinking a little differently, but it really does feel like they are prioritizing profits over the player base. That is my general sentiment around this whole thing. And, granted, Season 7 was a lot of fun, but it was something different. We hadn't had powers in a long time since Season 2, so they added them back, and it felt really good. But now we're getting them every season. You're not really changing it up. So Blizzard really needs to step it up and do something new and different. And this just isn't it, in my opinion. So, I'm not really going to go over what Rax has to say. I just, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, Blizzard really needs to just pay attention to their competitors because this is just not. This isn't. I'm sorry. This might be worse than the bossing season. When I heard they were doing season of bossing, I was immediately not as hyped. And I will admit, as soon as I finished the season journey, I logged off. I didn't get my glyphs to 100. I didn't do anything after that. I didn't min max my gear masterworking. Um, yeah, again, this really isn't a season where the core game changes, and there's no real end game after you finish. Let's say you finish a season, you beat the season journey, you get all your gear, you get the build that you want online, you're playing the game. T4 is done. You'll be able to beat almost everything in T4. Fine, everything's great. But then after that, what do? You got your gear. Now you need to go use it. Well, I've already done everything in the game, so that's it. What am I going to do? More Nightmare Dungeons? I'm sorry, but no, I'm not. I'm going to log off. I'm going to go play something else. And maybe that's the idea, but I don't know, man. For me personally, this isn't it. I expect more from Blizzard at this point. Maybe joke's on me, but yeah, it's not looking good for Season 9. Granted, like I said, all these bugs most likely will get fixed in the release, so I'm not too concerned about that. But yeah, I'm not hopeful that the next season is really going to be much different, because if you look at the roadmap, it is literally them saying they're gonna. It's the season of Infernal Hordes, which means they're gonna make a bunch of changes to Infernal Hordes, probably give us some powers, give you a board to fill out, give you a season journey to fill out, and then that's it. But there needs to be something passively that you can work on besides the season journey, because the season journey is just a grocery list of items. Because the caches you get from the season journey, they don't really mean anything. You just get them and it's just crap gear and crap items. I don't know. In my opinion, yeah, this isn't it. Season 9, not in the right direction. And Season 10 is probably most likely. They're probably working on Season 10 as we speak. So that most likely will be Infernal Horde improvements, which is needed. But again, we go back to improving a core mechanic of the game. This should just be an automatic quality of life on top of your seasonal thing that you add to the game. This should not be, hey guys, we're improving the game. It's a season now. Like, I'm sorry. This is just not it for me. Anyway, I'm just going to wrap it up there because I could keep talking about this all day long. Very frustrating because I do like Diablo 4 at its core. I think there is something here. It is fun to play. Blasting is always a good time, in my opinion. Just these seasons just aren't it for me. At least when you look at your competitors, there's always an argument to be made that, oh, well, this is way better than Diablo 3 seasons. And yes, you are correct, but look around you. PoE 2, PoE 1, Last Epoch, Grim Dawn. They're all adding things to the game that drastically changes the game, and this is what Diablo needs. And I'm sorry, but maybe they're banking on their player base, shelling out that extra $40 when the expansion rolls around, and then they add something majorly different to the game. That's so scummy to me. Fix your game and then sell your expansion, okay? Make it better and then sell your expansion. Yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Am I being a Debbie Downer? Or, am I right in my opinions? If I'm right or not, it doesn't matter. You can disagree with me. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. This is just my opinion, right? But anyways, that's going to do it for me. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!